Hong Kong is backsliding. You know, we know it, the world knows it, and now we have to do something about it. We all know about the repressive national security law. We know about the sham trial for Jimmy Lai. I'm actually going to ask that President Trump ask for his release as part of this summit. I think it's about time, and it would be appropriate, and it would be a sign of building confidence between our countries if he were to be released, among others. Secondly, we know that Hong Kong has become kind of a forward operating base for illicit transactions by the CCP. And there are two types of transactions in particular that at least I'm aware of. One is transshipment. We've heard of this. The chairman and I and others are co-sponsoring a bill to prosecute trade crimes, and one of those crimes is transshipment. That means where something is stamped as being made in one country that has not been sanctioned, but is actually made in China. And they use Hong Kong as a route to bring those illicit products into the United States. And so Hong Kong has unfortunately become a center for transshipment, and that has to be addressed. And through our trade crimes bill, I hope that we focus resources especially on Hong Kong. Another type of illicit financing is the listing of various sanctioned PRC companies on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, where foreign investors can invest in those through Hong Kong. That's something that, again, is of great concern because those particular companies could not receive investments were they to come to the United States and seek to obtain capital, but they can through Hong Kong. Not only Chinese companies, but also Iranian companies, as well as Russian companies are using Hong Kong as their kind of preferred place of illicit transactions. This is all because Hong Kong used to be a trusted center of global commerce. However, the people running Hong Kong cannot be trusted. That is the problem. They are using its old kind of good reputation in bad ways. And so now we have to call a spade a spade. The people running Hong Kong are not the same people who created Hong Kong's institutions that we used to rely on. So with new management in Hong Kong, we need new laws to deal with them. And so that's the purpose and part of today's discussion. I apologize in advance that I'm kind of shoveling to another room in this same complex and then to a hearing, so I have to leave pretty soon, but people will be coming in and out, and I thank you for coming in and testifying, and thank you to, I'm going to take point of personal privilege, John Stivers, our former staff director on the minority side, helped to put together today's event, so thank you for that as well.
Thank you, Ranking Member, and welcome back. Well, let me first turn to Mr. Pickett. Do you have any opening remarks to kick us off?
Good morning, and thank you for inviting me to speak. I'm grateful to this committee's steadfast bipartisan commitment to Hong Kongers. It's very much appreciated by the community here and abroad. Hong Kong is a two-faced city. On one side, it stages a polished facade for global finance. This November, the Hong Kong government will host its Global Financial Leaders Investment Summit for the 4th year in a row. CEOs and senior executives from U.S. firms like Citibank, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and BlackRock will sit politely as the city's chief executive, John Lee, himself under U.S. sanctions, welcomes them to invest. They'll dine with officials, strike deals, and hear about Hong Kong's openness. But just down the road, the reality is starkly different. Jimmy Lai, the media mogul and British citizen, sits in Stanley Prison. Joshua Wong, once a student activist who testified in this Congress next to Sunny Chung several years ago, has been in solitary confinement for years. Chow Hang-tung, one of Hong Kong's most prominent human rights lawyers, remains detained without trial and punished if she speaks out. These are only three among the more than 1,900 political prisoners since the 2019 protests, including me for several months in 2021 and 2022. As for those outside the prison walls who aspire for democracy, Hong Kong has become an open-air prison where dissent is impossible and every step is monitored. This dual reality defines Hong Kong today, a place where Western bankers shake hands with sanctioned officials, while the city courts, dictators and rogue regimes. When Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022, John Lee famously declared that Hong Kong would just, quote, laugh off the sanctions. And the city has made good on that promise. For the past 2 years, I've worked with the Committee for Freedom in Hong Kong Foundation to document Hong Kong's role as the world's leading hub for sanctions evasion. Last year, I authored our report, Beneath the Harbor, which revealed U.S. and allied technology flowing through Hong Kong trading companies into Russia and Iran. This fall, CFHK will release a Canadian report tracing how Canadian technology has been diverted in the same way, with a European study to follow. Our findings are clear. Hong Kong has become the central artery for sanctions evasion, and the U.S. and its allies are falling behind. The numbers tell the story. After Russia's invasion, Hong Kong shipments dipped briefly, then surged. By the end of 2022, shipments to Russia had nearly doubled from pre-war levels. In just 5 months of 2023, Hong Kong exported $750 million worth of goods on the Common High Priority List, the very items most critical to Russia's war machine. Since then, Hong Kong has remained by far the most important node in the transfer of both Chinese and Western technology to Russia. One Hong Kong company, Puriclinos, pretended to sell fertilizer and charcoal. In reality, it shipped millions in U.S. semiconductors to Russian military suppliers, hidden behind a maze of front companies in Cyprus, a European Union member. Only after